Good. Well, let's give Mr. Charlie Ortiz a round of applause. And Charlie, come on up. Charlie Hustle, you have like 15 names. What's going on, buddy? Grab it here. Sorry, I guess I could have the mic ready for you. Got these questions you handed me. So normally I come up with my own questions, but Charlie made it easy for me. He highlighted them because he thinks I can't. He highlighted like the entire both sides of the postcard. So apparently it's all very important. What's that? It is. I know it's just yellow postcards. No, I'm just kidding. So Charlie, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor.
Good. So tell us, I know you're an investor and we're going to go into some things, but give us like the who you are in like 10 seconds or less.
Okay, before I start, before I tell you who you are, who I am, I want to let you know that 10 years ago, I was sitting where you were sitting 10 years ago. So it's a decade. It's been 10 years. So what you're going to hear is my 10-year journey. My name is Charlie Ortiz Parra. I go by the nickname of Charlie Hustle because I was a door knocker for Home Investors of America. So that's my nickname.
Awesome. So who out there door knocks? Okay, a few of you. Okay, a lot of people are, myself included for a little while, are terrified of door knocking. Why do you think that is, and how do people overcome that?
I think that it's a block in the brain. It's probably how you were raised, how your parents raised you. And if you did something right, you were praised. And if you did something wrong, that you were bad. And I think that a lot of us carry that blockage within us. And I think it takes a special type of reason, a special type of fire to get past, that fear. Because all of us have it, right? It depends on who is actually going to take the action. That's what it comes down to, taking action.
Exactly. I like the innuendo there on the fire part. So, you're probably the most. There's a lot of different ways we can get into do this business. Why did you choose door knocking?
Because I didn't have any money, and I had time, and I had passion and fire, and I didn't know how to say no. I don't take no for an answer. And I heard someone say the fastest way to get in front of a seller is to door knock. And so that's exactly what I did. I just got right to work. I met up with one investor at a cafe, and he says, when you're going to start? I said, right now, today. As soon as I leave right now, I'm starting right now. And that's how it really starts, right? If you don't take any action, how do you expect anything to happen? It won't. You just stay in the same position, stuck. So I took the action. Nobody was going to do it. I'm that guy that's going to do it. Yeah.
Good. And you hear us repeat that. For those of you who've been in Fire Fast or taken some of the other classes that we've done here, action is the main thing. You got to do it. No seller is just going to, I want to look up this guy one day and just call him and offer him my house. You got to take that action, right? So.
Yeah, I think whether you are door knocking or whether you're on the phone, whatever it is, just know you're not supposed to be good because you haven't put up enough reps. You haven't practiced enough. You haven't thrown up enough on the phone. You haven't got past that fear because you haven't showed up and you haven't knocked the door. Right? But when you do, something happens, and what happens is you open up neural pathways. And when you do, right, you start building a little bit confidence, just a little bit more, and you got to build that muscle.
Yeah, and it's when you go through Fire Fast and some of these other classes too, we could tell you how to do this all day long, but some of it is. Some of it, especially, did you have a sales background? Did you do sales or anything before you started door knocking?
I I maybe can count maybe 3 jobs that I've had in my whole entire life. So I don't know what it's like to have a regular job. I don't know. I just know my way, and my way usually got me in trouble with supervisors. So
you're a destined entrepreneur.
Yeah. And then lastly, my entire family comes from a whole bunch of doers. So I learned from them.
Awesome. So was there anything, I kind of want to like expand on that a little bit. So, cause a lot of, I got fired multiple times before I just said, screw it. And, didn't work for anybody anymore, but, either fire or quit or made them fire me, depending on, whose side of the story you talk to. And, so like talk about a little bit more why, or what happened in those jobs like that made you why do you think this was kind of like your destiny to be an entrepreneur?
Do you mind if I stand up for a second? Because when I'm talking and I'm usually negotiating with people, I'm really standing up. I'm never really sitting down. So I'm going to be a little quirky if you guys don't mind. I'm going to stand up and sit down.
Go ahead. I'm going to stay sitting
Okay.
down because I paid 28 rounds of golf today. So
All right.
I'm just gonna chill and watch you.
I'm going to start with an end. I'm going to start with the end. And here's the end, right? Heads up, right? It might be a little hard for some of you guys to hear. But when I say I started with the end, I start at the very, very end when people are when they're at my service, when they're at my funeral. Because nobody really gives a shit how much money you made, but they do care. They do care how you made them feel, and they do care how you were able to help. So I just start there, because I know my time is limited here on this earth, and so I start from there, and then that, because I know I'm going to be here such a short time, my job is really to change the trajectory. It is really to break the cycle and to show, my kids and my kids' kids and their kids' kids, their generation, show them a different trajectory. And when I wake up every single morning, that's exactly what I think about. And I wake up thinking about that, and I go to sleep thinking about that.
That's good. And we talk about that too with goal setting and like where do you want to be? Like what are your goals? Like it's easy to say, well, I want to be rich, or I want to be I want a Lambo or whatever. Like why? And so you talk about starting with the end, is good. I like that. So what? I'm sure you didn't just come out the gate like. You've been doing this 10 years, right? I'm sure you just didn't come out the gate like your first couple of years and just start crushing contracts, and nowadays you come to exchangers, you got like three different deals you're selling, but like, was it always like that?
No. Yes, I would say. But here's the thing is, my problem is that I've always thought I could. That's my problem. I think I can. I've always thought I could. It was never like, I think I can, I'm going to try. It was like 100% definite, like the shit is going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'll make the shit happen. So there's no like 99%. There is only 100%.
I like that. Like you're like Yoda over here. Like there's no try, just do.
Well, can you imagine, right, that I got to go home and feed my family, and I'm like, oh no, I didn't get a contract, so I can't feed my family, right? So we're not just talking about doing deals. We're not just talking about getting money. It's really my family, right? It's all about my family. Everything that I do is they're always on my mind. It's my family, and that's why I do what I do. That's why I wake up hungry every single morning, looking to snipe something down, looking to put something under contract, to lock some shit up. Because if I don't, I won't be able to feed my family. Yeah.
Can anybody else relate? Yeah, good. So I wanted a similar question, but let's reword it a little bit. Like those first couple years, were there certain challenges to what were the challenges for those first couple years? Because I'm assuming you didn't know everything you know today.
Yeah, so because I was a door knocker, I got familiar with foreclosures, but in all reality, the first 2 years is really you just don't know what you don't know, right? Right? Can anybody relate to that? Right? Raise your hand. You don't know what you don't know.
I still don't know what I don't know.
But you can get that knowledge, right? You can pay to kind of collapse the time frame. And you need to seek that knowledge, whether it's here at the fire, whether it's with another investor, but you need knowledge. So that's number one. Number two is you need to take action so you fail, so you break it. Because that's where the true success lies in, because it's either going to be two things. And this is one of my mentors taught me this. It's either going to be a lesson or a blessing. If it's a blessing, you got a check. You got money, right? And if it's a lesson, there's no money. But that's where the gold is.
I like that. I'm trying to think about all the lessons if they were blessings. There's definitely been some blessings.
I think there should be more lessons. I think when I hear stories of like if someone's raising their hand and someone's like, I've been trying door knocking, I've been trying mailers, I've been trying something. Right, I already know that they've opened up at least a neural pathway in their brain, right? Versus the person that's not going to take any action whatsoever. And the reason that most people don't take an action is because the fear of what other people will think about you, right? That what maybe your peers, your coworkers, and the reality for me is I never gave a shit, and so therefore I was able to keep failing and progressing because it didn't matter what people said. It didn't matter. If I had to show up barefooted, if I had to sleep in my car, whatever needed to happen, that's exactly what was going to happen. You just show up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And give us, if you can, maybe you tell us. You give me an example of a lesson.
One of the lessons is when you think that you have a deal and you're counting on the money before you get the deal.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
Before you've even solved the problem, that deal's probably going to collapse and crumble, and it's going to crush you, right? So next time you got to get right back up, and you got to really figure out how you can solve that problem, how you can get from where the seller's at to where they want to be. And that's the lesson I learned, is solve the problems. I don't know what I don't know, and that's why I'm calling, because I'm trying to figure out their situation. I'm trying to understand their situation. So that was a lesson, right? Understand what they are wanting, what they are asking. Understand their pains, their urgency, and their motivation. Dig in deep, ladies and gentlemen. That's where the gold is at.
So don't count your chickens.
Don't count your chickens.
Yeah, except for Pharaoh. No, we used to, when I was in the staffing industry, it was like a taboo to calculate your commission on a placement before they actually walked into the client's office and started. So we always, the new guy, they'd always be like, "What am I going to make?" We're like, "Don't worry, don't even ask." And same thing. It rolled over into real estate. Like I never, I don't tally up the final numbers until escrow closes. Other than that, So, and even then.
Rich, I want to mention something here for everyone. Some people still call me Charlie the Hustle, but I'm really Charlie the Operator. I just run operations. I run systems. I run a team. I'm not really hustling these days. These days, I spend the time trying to quiet the mind in the morning, right? Really trying to understand,
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. So, you've been doing this 10 years, and I've always known you as a hustler, I think every time if I still go to the office, walk through, you've always, Tommy's crushing or yelling at somebody on the phone or, and you're on your stand-up desk, I was like, "What's up, Rich?" Yeah. And, but so when you talk about that operator change and that you kind of take some time in the morning now. Tell us about that. Like, why did that change come about?
So two things, okay? So I heard this from one of my mentors, and one of my mentors said, hey, real estate is a thinking man game, right? And if
Can't you?
no, it was the other guy that's works
Cantu's-
with him. The other
Cantu's
guy-
protege?
yeah. So that's what I learned, and then two, I also heard that or know that it's 10% what we're talking about. All the tools, tricks, it's only 10%, but the 90% is really your mindset. It's all your mindset, whether you believe you can or whether you think you can't. You're right either way, ladies and gentlemen. And so if you program your mind every single morning to believe that you can, and you work that muscle, before you know it, you think that you can. And now you kind of really, excuse my language, but a lot of us just got to really unfuck ourselves.
That's a good book. What's so like? Give us an example though. Like, what's something that you maybe, how did you used to start your day, versus it sounds like you've made a change and you're starting your day differently now.
Yeah, I think now I'm up like at 5:15. I try to be in the gym by 5:30, and I'm not really like doing any weights or anything crazy like Tommy, my partner Tommy. He's former military muscle guy. I'm not that guy. But what I will do is I'll hit the sauna for 25 minutes with my eyes closed and really concentrating on my breathing, really concentrating on winning, really concentrating on closing deals, foreseeing talking with sellers, foresee solving problems for 25 minutes, really working on myself, right? Because that's where it starts. Right? I think if you wake up in the morning, like I used to before, like you want to hustle and you're like jumping out of bed and you got to go here, there, and everywhere, then your whole day is going to be like that, as you can imagine. Right? But just imagine that if you would just read for 10 minutes, just imagine, right, if you would just slow down the mind even for 5 minutes, and I think that, today I was mentioning I run operations. I run a sales team where we're practicing sales 3 or 4 times. Tommy, he's also closed deals. He's also the integrator. And we were constantly going over our homework, our metrics, right? So at the end of the day, we pull back and we say, what really happened? How many offers did we really send? How many people did we really process? So you got to have a scorecard. Or how do you know which direction you're going? Is it plus or minus? You don't know. Journal. I have a sales journal. So I can look back a year later and be like, wow, I can't believe I've grown. Do a vision poster. Record yourself, feeling good, and replay that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you said about the, taking time and that your day is going to be that whole way. I can tell you from experience. Yeah, I would, the last, few years,